Part 8. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 71. The Thrilling Uninhabited Island Program Group. The director looked at the hot searches that kept floating up one after another, and his mouth was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth. He thought to himself, fortunately, he agreed to that mysterious person's request. No, not to mention that he won 20 million yuan, who would have thought that Jin Li could bring him so many surprises. It's a gem of a variety show. At this time, in front of the director of the public relations director of the program group, he asked quietly, "Director." The director put away his smile, showing the style of an expert who is not humiliated. "What's the matter? In the live broadcast just now, Jin Li's found the egg so quickly. Is it her real strength, or did the show team say hello in advance to match the effect of the show?" Hearing this, the director was very angry, and launched a death stare at the PR director. "What do you mean? Are you questioning my character?" Director of Public Relations. He said tactfully, "Of course I believe in the director's character, but I also understand that there is no end to this. Occasionally, for the sake of the show, we, those in charge, have to sacrifice something, such as character or integrity." He and the director exchanged tacit glances at each other. The director coughed, touched his shiny scalp, and said solemnly, "Actually, half an hour ago, I just had a sore phone call with the staff and asked the same question." The director of public relations quickly asked, "How do you say it?" "She doesn't know anything. The PR director understands it in seconds." He happily went out. Well, the official reply method can be settled. If Jin Li has something to do with the show team, then they will resolutely and affirmatively safeguard the fairness of the show as soon as possible. We do not exist in the dark box. Everything we do is live. What? You do not believe? If you have the ability to believe it, you have the ability to come up with evidence. But if this is indeed a coincidence, there is no human factor. The director of public relations said, "This attitude can be ambiguous. You don't need to be too firm to distance yourself from the relationship. Let the netizens question, argue, and tear up. There will be more heat when there is tearing. Anyway, it can always be found out by netizens in the end. They are lucky and have nothing to do with the shady scenes of the show." Therefore, in this vigorous discussion on the internet, the program team not only did not have a firm attitude to express its position, but even brought a wave of rhythm, which aroused the curiosity of more netizens. The ratings of this episode of The Thrilling Uninhabited Island has once again ushered in a peak. It even broke the previous highest viewing record. Countless people through Weibo, through advertisements, through Amway of their relatives and friends. Into the pit. After that, I was indulged in Jin Li's God-given beauty and peculiar character. It's like a big V took the initiative to Amway the show and said a sentence, "I didn't know Jin Li before." But if you watch this episode of The Thrilling Uninhabited Island, you will be hard-pressed not to like her. Although Jin Li didn't know what happened, the golden energy that poured into his body all the time was not fake. She only knew that participating in the program The Thrilling Uninhabited Island really brought her huge benefits. That's enough. Of course Lu Zhenjia also discovered this. The Jin Li Weibo he follows has more and more fans. Fewer and fewer people hate her, and more people love her. It is like a pearl that was not known in the past and was buried in the yellow sand. The wind picked up, blowing away the dust. And she, in the sunshine, radiates gracefully. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 72. Lu Zhenjia stared at the woman on the screen for a long time. He had a cup of clear tea in his hand, still full, and the tea was cold. She was talking to her teammates, laughing happily about what she thought was funny. The barrage is full of praise for her beauty. Guyu looked back and smiled. By mice hung. Lu Zhenjie had never seen that gorgeous concubine, but she felt that she was definitely not as good looking as Jin Li. His attention to her began with her appearance and desire. Lu Zhenjie didn't think he was a superficial person until he met Jin Li. Not knowing what to think of, Lu Zhenjie sighed lowly. He thought, if at that time, he proposed an exchange of interests, Jin Li would agree to him. He gets what he wants, and after a while, the fresh energy will pass, and the desire will be satisfied, and there will be no such obsession. Instead of being like now, I always feel unwilling and can't help but pay attention to her. If you want to see this woman, but reject yourself, how far can you go by yourself? Then he learned more about Jin Li. Looking at her confidence, her narcissism, her vicious tongue, her honesty, her good luck. That Big V was right, Jin Li is a woman, the more you know about her, the harder it is to hate her. She is really a very attractive person. Even the cold-hearted patriarch of the Lu family is not exempt. Lu Zhenjie fixedly looked at the smiling woman on the screen, her eyes narrowed, as if she had decided something. He faintly realized that he was unusual for Jin Li. To what extent this abnormality has reached, he himself does not know. But one thing, from the first sight, until now, hasn't changed: he wants her. This is enough. Finger presses a number. Bai Yan, come to the company this afternoon. Bai Yan, who just finished a business trip and is about to enjoy a wonderful vacation. Lu Zhenjie didn't have the slightest sense of being a Lu poppy. Jewelry and costumes are not enough, so let's change the method. Jin Li suddenly frowned. Lu Qingyuan glanced at her. What's wrong? Not feeling well. Jin Li took a deep breath and shook her head inexplicably. I just froze for a while, it's nothing. Just for a moment, her sea of consciousness suddenly vibrated violently, and even the sleeping spirit body Koi jumped up from the pool in shock. Since she came to this world, her sea of consciousness has been silent because of lack of divine power. It wasn't until the influx of golden energy in the past few days that it slowly recovered a little, but it was a drop in the bucket, and the sea of consciousness has always been quiet. So, what just happened? Is it a warning in the dark? Or the omen of something big? The Koi looked up at the sky and said in his heart that if there is really a big event, can you remind me again? She waited. Quietly. There was no movement in the sea of consciousness. In the blue spiritual spring where the water mist was steaming, a beautiful silver koi fell asleep quietly, only swiping its tail occasionally. As if the movement just now was just an illusion. Koi breathed a sigh of relief. Tiandao never gave her any warning, and it was not a big deal. A body of natural luck like her, unless the sky collapses, the stars fall, the divine way disappears, and the heavenly way disappears. Otherwise, she will live the same life as heaven and earth, and no matter how big the catastrophe is, it will not affect her. 4 is over. In the new week, don't smash the tickets carelessly. Mua. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 73. Jin Li retracted his mind and focused on moving forward along the map with his teammates. After feeling the benefits of this show, Jin Li made a decision in her heart: she must perform well and perform perfectly. Get more fans. Get more golden energy. Yeah, Lan Ting suddenly shouted. In front of the three of them, on the 2-meter-wide path, huge stones and logs were scattered. The boulder is half a person high, and the wood is the size that one person needs to hug. Jin Li looked at the past from a distance, and the road as far as he could see was all like this. Lan Ting was dumbfounded. How is this going to pass? There are steep slopes on both sides, and it is obvious that there is no way to go. Jin Li looked at the map again and could detour, but in that case, it would take 3 times as much distance. But if you don't go around, you have to constantly overcome or clear these obstacles. Lu Qingyuan glanced around and said, based on my experience watching this show, there should be a third method that saves time and effort. There must be staff around here who can help us quickly clear customs. The 3 live broadcasts do not know the real situation. But the viewers who were watching the live broadcast clearly saw that the camera turned to another fork in the road hundreds of meters away. A simple workbench was erected there, and a staff member in a peaked cap was sitting there. Under the camera, the staff can only see a handsome chin, and he smiled at the camera. Hello everyone, I am the welfare distributor of the 2nd level. If the guests can find me and answer the 5 I gave correctly. Question, then I'll provide a quick way to the roadblock. Wow, although I can't see the face, I feel this little brother is very handsome. There is actually a hidden NPC, Lu Shen is really 666, and this can be guessed. Think about the golden team who are still looking for eggs, compare them, I feel really sad for them. Sit and wait for the little brother to ask the question. The camera only flickered here, and soon returned to the 3 people of the silver team. Just as Lu Qingyuan was about to get up to look for the hidden staff, Jin Li seemed to have suddenly made a decision. Don't be so troublesome. What? Lu Qingyuan looked sideways. Jin Li carefully felt the golden energy in her body. She felt like she could make a big deal. She glanced at her 2 teammates, coughed lightly, and said with a serious face, actually, I have always had a secret that I haven't told you. Lu Qingyuan. Lan Ting. Jin Li continued with a serious face, actually, I am a descendant of a certain hidden world, with power beyond the reach of ordinary people. Lu Qingyuan. Lan Ting. The expressions of both of them are the same, inexplicable and complicated. After all, what Jin Li said was really a god. The audience watching the live broadcast was obviously in the same mood as them. They not only wanted to laugh, but even played tricks. Actually, I have a secret that I haven't told you all the time. I am a descendant of a cultivator sect. Upstairs weak chicken, in fact, I have a secret that I haven't told you all the time. I have awakened the memory of my past life. Although the real dynasty has died, you all used to be my subjects. Upstairs weak chicken, in fact, I have a secret that I haven't told you all the time. I saved the world in my previous life. In this life, I was born with a fairy body. I will soar in the daytime in 20 years. No one took Jin Li's words to heart. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 74. Although Jin Li couldn't see the giggling complaints from the audience, she could see the expressions of the 2 teammates. It just means one thing, you continue to make up, I listen, believe a word, count me as a loser. Jin Li looked at the 2 angrily, you don't believe me. Lan Ting said quickly, we believe it, we believe everything you say. After all, you look so good looking, what can I do with you? Jin Li. Okay, she said, since you don't believe what I said, I can only use facts to prove it to you. Lan Ting. Lu Qingyuan also gave her a surprised look. Jin Li, what do you want to do? He paused, then said, this mountain road is rugged, don't do anything dangerous. Jin Li was full of confidence, don't worry, I'm not the kind of person who would mess around. Lu Qingyuan was a little helpless, thinking that you clearly seem to be the kind of person who will mess up. But on the face he just smiled and said indulgently, okay, you can play if you want, the golden team can't catch up with us anyway. Luck God, Lu is really gentle. These 2 are too sweet and spicy. Saying that there is nothing between them, I absolutely do not believe it. Ha 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 ha. Jin Li, I'm not the kind of person who can mess up, I'm not a person when I mess up. I don't know why, I always feel pretentious when I see other people looking for trouble, but when the object is Jin Li, I just think she is very cute. Really love is not enough duck. It's me upstairs, I'm right, I just watch Jin Lee alone for a whole day and won't get tired of it. Only I am curious, how does Jin Lee plan to prove that he is the descendant of some hidden section? Hum. The barrage suddenly went crazy, and the screen was full of troughs with high energy. I saw in the lens. Jin Lee walked to a boulder in front of him and stretched out his hand. Everyone just watched her helplessly as if she was moving a piece of foam, lifted the boulder easily, and put it aside. Lu Qingyuan's eyes widened in shock, and his good self-cultivation allowed him to barely maintain his demeanor. Lan Ting is different. Like all the fans watching the live broadcast, she blurted out and said, After she finished speaking, she realized that she was still on the show, and she should use a slightly more elegant word to describe the shock in her heart. He thought about it for a long time, and felt that only Off could accurately express his inner truth. Alas, I just blame myself for not being literate. Lan Ting hurried to Jin Lee's face, and even the restraint of facing the goddess disappeared. She took her hand and glanced at it. The camera zoomed in, and everyone saw those beautiful and fair hands. This should be a pair of pampered hands, white as jade, delicate texture, not even a tiny bit of fine calluses. How did such a pair of hands lift the stone? Lan Ting stared at it for a while, then turned her head again, walked to the boulder, stretched out her hand, and said, I see. This stone is actually just a plastic model, it was used by the show team to scare people. As she spoke, she squatted down, like Fang Cai Jin Lee, stretched out her arms to embrace, and was about to pick up the stone. Of course it is impossible. Not to mention picking it up, this boulder never even moved. Lan Ting's face flushed red, she straightened up, her face full of doubts about life. It's actually a real stone. She looked at Jin Lee in shock, her worldview was reshaped, and she couldn't help but send out the torture from her soul. Is my goddess human? The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 75. Lan Ting crouched down and the camera zoomed in. Under the huge stones, dead leaves and shrubs were pressed with obvious marks. This is what it looks like when they bear the weight they shouldn't bear. Stones can be faked, but these fallen leaves can't be faked. Is this the legendary King Kong Barbie? If that boulder is not fake, it must be several hundred kilograms, right? Oh my god. I thought that my fan was a little fairy, but now the reality tells me that I am a giant. Hee, no, I can't accept it. Take off the powder and take off the powder, so disillusioned. It's enough to take off the powder in the front. Am I the only one who thinks this contrast is too cute? Imagine a day in the future, if there is a fool without long eyes who wants to rob the beauty of Jin Lee. Hee. It's a ghost upstairs. This picture is so beautiful when you think about it. I just want to know if the hidden world Suanman is true. Are you still hiring? Same curiosity. Could this be the legendary martial arts? If Jin Lee can see the barrage at this moment, he will definitely show a high-level demeanor and start to vigorously cheat mode, and strive to develop more fans. It's a pity that she couldn't see the audience's reaction and could only communicate with the two little friends around her. Facing the deadly silence in the air, she showed an innocent look. Look, can this prove it? Lan Ting. Her tone was harsh, and she asked the question that most of the audience wanted to know, how did you do it? Is this the legendary martial arts? Jin Lee gave her a mysterious look and shook her head. No, I said, I am a member of Suanman. The people of Suanman? Lan Ting looked suspicious and wanted to ask again. Jin Lee stretched out a finger and put it on his lips. This is metaphysics, there is no more to say. With a faint smile on her lips, her expression was calm and dignified. In this way, if there is a special effect behind him, I am afraid that it can be directly used as a brainwashing bag. Lu Zhenjia is also one of the large audiences watching the live broadcast. When he saw Jin Lee easily lift the boulder, He fell into a suspicious silence. Another idea in my mind was killed. Alas, I consulted a professional before, and the expert told him that some women like strong men. If you don't pay attention to others, you might as well try to steal it, maybe there will be unexpected surprises. He listed it as an option, thinking about what kind of wall dong, which is very popular on the internet, can be tried at that time. After all, many women are said to eat men like domineering presidents. However, when she saw Jin Lee and the boulder in her hand, the idea was instantly kicked out of her mind. Lu Zhenjie looked at his physique. Although I work out every day and my physique is much stronger than ordinary people, if I meet Jin Lee. He felt that if he dared to play wall dong, probably the other party would dare to lift it up without any pressure, throw it to the ground, and step on both feet by the way. Thinking of this, Lu Zhenjie coughed lightly, holding on to Gao Leng's expression. Then, without changing his face, he reached into his pocket and blocked the unreliable expert. Snored. What a bad idea. How dare you call yourself an emotional expert? I'll make you bankrupt tomorrow. 3 shifts, serious Calvin, bald. Go to bed first, and if you are in good shape during the day, I will make up for this. Finally, are you looking for a recommended ticket every day? 3. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 76. Lu Zhenjie looked at the live broadcast. Jin Lee was putting his hands behind his back, trying to make a calm expression on his face. But those twinkling eyes had already betrayed her. No matter who she is, she can see a meaning from her expression. Am I strong? Praise me now. Lu Qingyuan, who was standing on the side, held back, but still couldn't hold back, stretched out his hand and gently rubbed her head. Jin Lee gave him a blank look. Lu Qingyuan coughed, with a smile in his eyes. Jin Lee is amazing. Jin Lee was smoothed out in a second, proudly straightened her chest, and said modestly, "Where, it's actually just as powerful. My blood tank is empty. I want to report this person for foul. Cute eat too much, causing discomfort. Why is there such a little fairy? Before, I just wanted to marry Jin Lee, but now I want to keep Jin Lee. Jin Lee, good daughter, what do you want? Dad will give you everything." Ah, this arrogant little expression. Jin Lee, you are the best, you are amazing. Shen Lu, I'm sorry, I used to like you very much, but at this moment, I only have one sentence to say to you: draw your sword. I used to be jealous of Jin Lee, but now I am jealous of Lu Shen. I may be the life of a sauerkraut jar. Pure face powder means that you can get enough of a book after nibbling on CP. Touch, head, kill. Lu Qingyuan, let go of that Jin Lee, me, come, ah. Lan Ting stood on the side, watching the intimate movements of the two, inexplicably a little tasteful. She couldn't help but run to Jin Lee's side, her eyes shining brightly. Jin Lee, you are so amazing, why are you so good? Jin Lee is a very undeserved person. She said proudly, I said that I am the captain, and I will take you to complete all the tasks and reach the pinnacle of life. Just follow me. She said, waving to the two of them, and started walking forward. Wood, just throw it away. Stone, kicked away. For ordinary people, it is almost insurmountable difficulty, but the silver team, to be precise, was swept by Jin Lee in a posture. Perfect clearance. There are no other words except 666 on the barrage. Lu Zhenjie didn't do his work either. He stared faintly at his nephew's hand. And he once again scolded Bai Yan in his heart, who gave him the idea to let Jin Lee appear on the show. Oh, to make wedding clothes for others. Bai Yan, who got up from vacation with a face full of vicissitudes to work? That is to say, from Jin Li's expression, there is no trace of love and ambiguity, so Lu Zhenjie can sit here so calmly now. Otherwise, it would not be difficult to let the thrilling uninhabited island record an accident and end it early. The camera turned to the golden team at this time. Lu Zhenjie glanced at it uninterestedly, closed the page, and started to work. In the lens. The breathless gold team, who doesn't know anything yet, is dreaming of surpassing the silver team. They finally came to another mountain road. The program group is fair. Although the two teams were divided into two paths, the obstacles and difficulty were exactly the same. Su Zai smiled when he saw this road, such a difficult level, the silver team must not be so easy to pass. Maybe they will stop here at the moment, we have great hope of surpassing them. Peng Fei looked at this abnormal road, but he was not as optimistic as his teammates. He remembered that painful bet. There are also 3 Jin Li fathers who haven't called out so far. I always feel that things are not as simple as Su Zai thought. 4th update today. See you in the morning. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 77. The audience giggled as the 3 of the golden team discussed various unworkable plans, and finally, with luck, they found a handsome boy who was sitting in the forest and was so bored that he started pulling weeds. Su Zai's eyes lit up, hello. The little brother was also shocked, hello. Su Zai said, we have to go this way, can you help us? What the little brother is waiting for is the sentence, of course you can. Su Zai was delighted by the 3 of them. But before they could laugh, the little brother spoke again, however, you have to answer 5 questions for me. Once you answer them, I will tell you how to pass the customs quickly and send you to the next destination. Su Zai was full of confidence, no problem, you can ask. The little brother smiled inexplicably, then, the first question, why am I wearing such a featureless hat today to cover my handsome eyebrows? Su Zai. Peng Fei. He yet. Afraid of getting sunburned. Wrong. Don't want to leave the country. Wrong. Required by the program group. Wrong. The audience watching the live broadcast almost died of laughter. Golden team, I thought that there will be another village in the dark and bright, but I never expected that there will be another pit in the mountains and rivers. It's better to go around the long way, ha 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 ha. I'm so curious what the answer is, everything I can think of has been guessed by the golden team. Does he know that you are such a skinny director, little brother? I feel sorry for the golden team again, speaking of which, since watching this show, I have no idea how many times I have felt distressed for the golden team. Golden team, I thought it was an evenly matched confrontation, who knew that the opponent had a full level plug-in. In the end, after wasting 2.5 hours and enduring both physical and mental torment, the golden team was finally let go by the good-hearted little brother. The younger brother's tone was still a little disgusting, you guys are so disappointing to me, I answered one of the 5 questions, alas, if I hadn't been soft-hearted, you would have to stay here all day today. Gold team. Hee hee, thank you so much. Who knows, you're wearing a hat because you're bald. Su Zai also asked if the silver team had been here before. The little brother just shook his head, no, only you. Su Zai wanted to comfort himself, maybe the other party was taking a detour, but for some reason, he had a bad premonition in his heart, and suppressed the words that came to his mouth. The little brother fulfilled his promise. He drove the electric tricycle and carried the 3 people all the way to the destination. The 3 of the golden team chatted while sitting in the car. Peng Fei, you said, did the silver team reach their destination now? He was busy applying sunscreen to himself, and said casually, it's hard to say. Su Zai did not speak. Peng Fei said, why don't you speak, Yi? I thought you would firmly say that we will definitely be faster than them. Suzy. She didn't know why, but a feeling of vicissitude suddenly appeared in her heart. She looked at the two teammates, looked up at the sky again, and showed a Buddhist smile. I have already read it, I am just participating in the show. Participation is the most important thing, what does it matter if you win or lose? Peng Fei. He looked at Suzy suspiciously, and muttered, don't you make trouble for this handsome guy. Suzy. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 78. The tricycle drove for about half an hour and turned around a forest. The three members of the golden team suddenly smelled a strong fragrance. Peng Fei's eyes lit up, it's so fragrant. It's barbecue. He swallowed, this high-calorie junk food will make people fat. Suzy was still immersed in that inexplicable Buddhist mood, and did not speak, but couldn't help but glance around. The boy stepped on the brakes. Okay, the destination has arrived. Go forward from here and turn left. This is your destination. Come down, the little brother said. The captain has become a Buddha, and Peng Fei can only rely on himself. Handsome guy, what is the destination, can you reveal a little bit? The handsome guy smiled and said, I know. Peng Fei asked, then? I can't tell you, you'll know it by looking at it yourself. After the little brother finished speaking, he drove his electric tricycle to rub and disappeared. It's so mysterious. The three of Peng Fei followed the route that the younger brother said, and after turning left, a spacious and beautiful building appeared before them. It was a two-story villa with a novel and fashionable design, which was really eye-catching on this uninhabited island. Of course, what is more eye-catching at this moment is the three people sitting on the ground in front of the villa, which has been cleaned up very well, and the barbecue in front of them. The enticing scent from before came from here. It was already 3 or 4 in the afternoon. The three of the golden team ate a white steamed bun in the morning. The lunch the program team prepared for them was also a bag of small biscuits and a bottle of water, and they had already digested nothing left. Smelling such an attractive fragrance at this moment, I only feel hungry in my belly, and my mouth secretes saliva unconsciously. Thousands of words converge into 2 words, want to eat. Jin Li, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground and waiting for the food to cook, looked up and saw the 3 members of the golden team. She waved at them in a good mood. The 3 of Peng Fei walked over. Looking at the energetic appearance of the 3 Jin Li, it doesn't look like they came here after a long journey. Peng Fei sat down and asked, how long have you been here? Are there any new missions here? It's awesome, there's still barbecue. Where there is only barbecue. Several cans of drinks and some delicate snacks were also placed on the cloth mats laid on the ground. He said that he was about to grab 2 skewers of chicken wings and start roasting them, while complaining, I didn't eat anything today, I'm starving to death. Jin Li quickly blocked his hand, wait a minute. Peng Fei was taken aback. Jin Li looked at him seriously, this is our food. Peng Fei. He was a little at a loss, what do you mean, you're not so stingy, are you? Jin Li pointed to a small sign next to it, you can see for yourself. Peng Fei followed her finger and saw a small sign that stood up, with a line of words written on it. Exclusive to the silver team, please return the gold team to their place. Own place? Peng Fei suddenly had a bad premonition in his heart. He turned his head and glanced at the beautiful house behind him, and tentatively said, this house. Jin Li said with a smile, of course it's also from our silver team. The bad premonition is getting stronger and stronger, and the aroma of the food is getting stronger and stronger. Peng Fei swallowed, then, where is our golden team? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 79. Jin Li took a bunch of grilled wings from Lan Ting. The grilled wings smeared with honey and various seasonings were roasted into a dark golden color, with a layer of attractive oil on the skin, and the strong fragrance continued to penetrate into the nostrils. Jin Li didn't care to answer Peng Fei's question, and bit down. The seasonings have been perfectly integrated into the chicken wings, and the fragrant Q-bomb chicken accompanied by the roasted oil scent instantly captures the taste buds. Jin Li narrowed her eyes happily, it's so delicious. Good on. Peng Fei couldn't help swallowing. Jin Li waved his hand and said very perfunctory, you go around the villa, and your house is behind you. Your dinner is also prepared. When the three of the golden team left, Jin Li looked at Lan Ting with glowing eyes. If it wasn't for the roasted wings in her hand, no one doubted that she wanted to give the girl next to her a hug. Lan Ting, dear. You are really amazing. Why can you bake chicken wings so delicious? Lan Ting is obviously also very happy. Anyone who hears that their cooking skills are recognized will be satisfied, not to mention, the person who said this is Jin Li. Now the little fairy Jin Li is already the goddess of Lan Ting. She smiled shyly, I've liked cooking in the kitchen since I was a child. Jin Li can eat more if he likes it. I'll bake it for you. Jin Li was still biting the chicken in her mouth. Hearing that, those beautiful peach eyes looked at her with emotion, and said inarticulately, Lan Ting, you are so good. I love you. Kin Lai, what about your integrity? It turns out that a barbecue can reap your love? Confess a wave of Miss Lan Ting, good cooking skills, both men and women are angels. Jin Li, look at me, chef of a 5-star hotel, I am willing to cook for you every day, just look at me. Ha 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 ha, I'm more curious about what the golden team's house looks like, and my intuition tells me that there must be a mystery in it. According to the routine of the program group, it must be, there is no harm without comparison. Listening to Jin Li's confession, Lu Qingyuan glanced sideways at Jin Li, who was having a good time. When she finished eating the chicken wings in her hand, she handed over the grilled oysters at the right time. Huh? Lu Shen, don't you eat it yourself? Jin Li looked at him suspiciously. Lu Qingyuan smiled lightly, I don't have a good stomach, so I don't eat much seafood. Oh, Jin Li happily took the oysters. 3 seconds later. It's delicious. God Lu, you are amazing too. Lan Ting. She calmly glanced at the little goblin who was fighting for her favor. Humph. This must be intentional, right? What do you bake without seafood? Never try to steal the attention of my little fairy Jin Li. She became more and more focused on roasting the food in her hands. Over there, Jin Li and Lu Qingyuan are still talking. Why do you bake it so deliciously? I thought that the hand that plays the violin must not touch the spring water. Lu Qingyuan's voice was habitually gentle, I used to study abroad alone, and sometimes I didn't want to eat Western food, so I made my own. And my mother told me that if I want to learn more about cooking, when I meet a girl I like, I can grab her stomach first. When Lu Qingyuan said something here, he quickly said, sorry Jin Li, I have no other intentions. Jin Li took a serious look at him, waved her hand indifferently and said with a smile, it's okay, your mother must be a very romantic person. Lu Qingyuan smiled warmly, yes. Lan Ting laughed in her heart, let me just say, Lu Qingyuan, this stinky man, has bad intentions, right? The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 80. At the same time. Click. A man watching the live broadcast accidentally broke the signature pen in his hand. Looking at the sentence on the barrage, can you get your love with a bunch of delicious barbecue, Lu Zhenjia fell into silence for a long time. He looked down at his hands. These hands are not delicate. But it really hasn't touched the spring water. From the former young master of the Lu family to the later head of the Lu family. He has always had a lot of things to do, and he doesn't care so much about his appetite. Of course, he can't do anything that he cooks by himself. Looking at Jinli, who was eating very happily on the screen, Lu Zhenjie lowered his eyes and made a decision. Bai Yan, sign up for a cooking class for me. Bai Yan. He thought he had heard it wrong. Sir, what class are you talking about? Lu Zhenjie said coldly, go to the hospital by yourself if your ears are not good. Bai Yan, okay, I got it. You must have heard it right, it's a cooking class. Hanging up the phone, Bai Yan contacted those famous private tutors and silently complained, as expected, he never understood what MR. Could it be that if you want to be someone else's boss, you have to be so elusive? Jin Li, who is being fed by two people in turn, has now become a winner in life, envied by netizens' real name system. This scene, you say, does it look like two harem beauties are fighting for favor? Ha 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 ha, is it alright to fight for favor? Ha 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 ha, Jin Li is His Majesty? Lu Guifei and Lan Guifei, whoever can grab the stomach of His Majesty Jin Li will be the future queen of the palace. The CP party said that it was just an official candy. Lu Shen said he would cook food for the girl he liked, while Jin Li ate the barbecue grilled by him. It's really a good match, making soup for you, what a beautiful love. But Lu Shen and Jin Li have very natural expressions, and they don't think there is any ambiguity between them. The person who was on a diet to lose weight said that the live broadcast caused strong discomfort, but I am damn it, just can't wait to turn it off. The way Jin Li eats is so cute, I can't help but look at her. The table in front of me is already full of melon seed milk and spicy strips. The grilled wings I just ordered, wait for the takeaway boy to come to the door. Beautiful JPG. Belch. Jin Li enjoyed it so much that she couldn't help but burp. It was only now that she realized later that the two of them were baking things for her just now, and they hadn't eaten much. She was a little embarrassed. You eat it yourself, don't patronize and bake it for me. Lan Ting glanced at Lu Qingyuan and spoke first, it's okay, I couldn't eat much, I like to bake for you. Lu Qingyuan probably sensed the girl's subtle hostility towards him. He raised his eyebrows, and only smiled warmly, seeing if you like it, I'm very satisfied. In fact, he looked at Jin Li's bulging cheeks as he ate, and even his hands were itchy. I want to hand feed her. Lu Qingyuan felt that his thinking was a bit perverted. But looking at Jin Li again, it really is because she is too cute, right? Obviously a few years older than him. But he was already mature earlier than his peers, not to mention, Jin Li was full of girlishness. He can't help but take the role of accommodating and caring for people. He glanced at Lan Ting again. Well, this girl's mentality is probably similar to her own. So, I came to the conclusion, it's not that I'm perverted, it's just that Jin Li is too cute. Jin Li, my goddamn, nowhere charm. The fourth update is over, the voting is over, good night. 3. By the way, the readership of Jin Li's book has already opened. There is a group number in the top post in the book review area. The big baby who likes Jin Li will join the group and fall together.